And two other themes I think that came out of the All Things D event was just the sort of hyper-connectivity, not just people, and I think next week we're going to hit 7 billion human beings and pretty much approaching that very quickly in terms of mobile devices, but also just the sheer volume of data as we also get into machine-to-machine communications. And how is that sort of an entry point for you into this field?
Well, I think most people don't realize that Huawei, while we clearly have the carrier business, and I just talked about the enterprise business, we have a consumer business, and the consumer business is I think we're in probably around number 5 worldwide in consumer devices or in terms of tablets, smartphones, et cetera. But we're actually number 1, I believe, right now in terms of the mobile data cards, the embedding of technology to bring broadband connectivity to things. Okay? And sometimes those are MiFi devices or USB dongles or other types of entities. That's really good when we think about this hyperconnectivity, a term I've been using for close to 6 or 7 years now. The reality is, if we think about the future of communications, the future of the enterprise or the consumer experience, it's not really about trying to converge to one device that does everything. It's about trying to recognize that everything that you have, that you experience or interact with that has a compute capability will be far more useful if it also has a connectivity capability. I tell people, if you want to see the difference between compute and compute plus connectivity, go home and take your PC in your house and disconnect it from the internet and use it for a weekend. It won't be very exciting.
Solitaire is
exactly. You'll be playing solitaire. You'll be really bored. Why does that not apply for the industrial automation systems, for our intelligent homes, for our entertainment experience? And we've already seen the beginning of that with things like connected TVs, the various home automation systems, smart houses, energy systems, smart grid. But what's exciting about that is all of those technologies have kind of originated independently. In the ICT world, we get a chance to tie it together. So imagine if your intelligent connected TV was not just there for entertainment purposes like Netflix on it, but also could be used as a conduit to push educational content for your child who was getting a way to interact with their teacher or their classroom while they were at home. These are all just vehicles to enhance the overall ability to be immersed in the technology and have a more effective ICT experience. And clearly pushing connectivity and technology into that Internet of Things is key, and clearly Huawei is well positioned for it given our very, very large presence in the practice of actually bringing devices into the mobile broadband environment.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing at All Things D, particularly that example about different devices, say in the case of Sony, who was speaking about the stovepipe thing, and it's happening very, very fast, and now they're just beginning to pull together. Absolutely. So this is really kind of the opportunity for you now to make your
Well, it is,
pitch.
And one thing that I think people miss is, each device being connected or being mobilized is fantastic. That's great. And the devices themselves need to talk to each other a bit, but the thing that actually ties them together goes back to an earlier question, and that's called cloud. It's this idea that you don't want necessarily your TV to talk to your cell phone directly, to talk to your, your industrial hardened.
Certainly not while you're driving anyway.
Exactly. I mean, I used to give an example, years and years ago. Wouldn't it be nice if, on your way home, your intelligent car talked to your intelligent sprinkler system and turned it off before you got home, so you didn't have to walk through puddles. And that was a very early example. Now, how to do that? Having those devices all talk to each other one-to-one is kind of an n-squared problem. Putting a thing called cloud in the middle in which you as a singular entity exist, meaning everything related to you is organized, and each of those entities communicates and represents you in their appropriate way, that becomes quite powerful. We have clearly seen that with Apple, with iCloud, the early indications there. Huawei has similar technology in our consumer products. We're building single cloud, which will be used across carrier, enterprise, and consumer. It's a big deal, but it's very exciting because it's actually linked to things like hyperconnectivity. It's linked to mobile broadband, which, by the way, is the definition of ICT when these things come together.